Good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the home weather office on this Thursday morning. It is now the 5th day of June, 2025. This is the morning briefing coming to you from the home weather office. If you came to the morning briefing to see my pretty face, once again, you're going to be disappointed. My pretty face is kind of bandaged up once again, going through more of this stuff. Another PSA, see your dermatologist regularly. Avoid the sun as much as possible while trying to enjoy the great outdoors. Let's move on. We do have a nice looking morning underway. Clear skies in the valley, the foothills, and Sierra marine layer along the coast, and it stretches from the north all the way down into Southern California and even into Baja, a nice thick marine layer. And this is what helps us out during the summer months. Let's take a closer look at the marine layer. This is from the Fort Ord Profiler. And right now, the marine layer is holding steady at around 2,000 feet. Feet is over here. Let me move this over so you can see that. 2,000 feet. Occasionally in the afternoon, it gets squashed. Keep in mind, we look at this from, this is 24 hours ago. This is the current time. So yeah, it's been rather steady around 2,000 feet. And if you combine that with an onshore breeze, well, we're going to get some nice cooling once again. This is around 11 o'clock this morning. Onshore breeze that will increase as we head into the afternoon. This is 5 o'clock. Once again, getting rather breezy in Solano and Yolo counties, as well as parts of San Joaquin County, areas like Discovery Bay. But that just spreads the cool air up the valley, just like what we saw yesterday. And we'll see more of this pattern. Now, yesterday actually did turn out to be a pretty warm day. In Sacramento, the high came in at 95. The previous day had been 90. But notice when that happened at 2:14 in the afternoon. Usually the warmest part of the day at this time of year is around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, the Delta breeze came up, helped to lower the temperature quite nicely. And yesterday we had a low of 56. So this is a pretty typical summer pattern for us, and one that makes these highs in the mid-90s rather tolerable. The fact that we had about a 40-degree jump from the morning to the afternoon really helps to make this area quite livable during the summer months. Now, when we get into trouble with heat is when instead of it's 95, it's 105, but more importantly, when the overnight low, instead of being 56, is like 70, 75 or so, that's when we get into trouble. And that's, of course, when you don't have an onshore breeze. So, yeah, 95 is pretty okay once you have this overnight low, because that means even at noontime, you're pretty comfortable. And then once the evening comes around, that breeze comes back up to help to lower temperatures once again. And I do think that we will continue to see that because we'll have this pattern in the afternoon. Again, this is 5 o'clock this afternoon. That breeze will stay with us through the night, then get into tomorrow morning. The winds are light, but still onshore. And then tomorrow afternoon, once again, we have the onshore breeze picking up. It doesn't impact all areas, but it does help to cool off much of the Central Valley. One of the other things that we're going to see today is afternoon showers and thunderstorms in the Sierra. Now today, they're likely going to be a little bit farther to the east than they were yesterday, but from the valley, you will look to the east and you'll be able to see these. So up and down Highway 395, likely in the high country of maybe Yosemite, and down toward Mammoth, we'll likely see some of those thunderstorms, but generally confined to areas along 395. That's this afternoon around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then as we head into the day, Friday, a little low pivoting off the coast will actually help to steer these a little bit farther to the west, and maybe even get something into around Tahoe. So we could see some activity along the crest of the Sierra and maybe down to about 6,000 feet on the west slope. I still don't think we'd see anything down in the Yosemite Valley, but as I mentioned yesterday, if you're going to be climbing Half Dome, might be good day just keep your head on a swivel, or make sure you're scaling the mountain first thing in the morning and getting off the hill, before 3 or 4 in the afternoon. That would be my advice for those of you out there that may be climbing Half Dome. So just, when we see the possibility of these, and we will see more of this, of course, as we go into the summertime and we get into the monsoon pattern, the thing to keep in mind is just, if you're hiking in the Sierra, just, do your highest peaks if you can earlier in the day, and just keep your eye on the sky because, lightning strikes are nothing to mess around with. All right, let's take a look at the big picture and see what's going to happen. This is what's happening right now. We have this little trough here with a little low spinning around down here, which is why on Friday we could see the thunderstorms. Maybe see that easterly flow right there, flow from the east as it pivots around this low. That's why we may see some of the activity in the Sierra a little bit farther to the west, and that would continue into the day on Saturday. And then this little pattern here into Sunday may boost temperatures a little bit before we see more cooling. All in all, this pattern looks okay for the middle part of June. This looks warm, but not overly hot. And then as we get out into here, what day are we up to now? This is the 14th, 15th. So keep your eye on this, because this would be a hot pattern in 10 days out. We'll see how that plays out with this high. Classic summer pattern here, as I talked about yesterday. So we'll see how that works out. In the meantime, today should be a beauty with clear skies in the area, some afternoon thunderstorms in the Sierra. Warm afternoon, but temperature should run slightly cooler than yesterday. That's everything I've got for you this morning. Yep, other than my pretty face. Maybe in a few days you'll be able to see my pretty face again. That's everything I've got for you. Make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.